Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Novice to Legendary. At this point, you have played quite a few games, however many you want to define as quite a few, and hopefully, you've been finding ways to become more engaged in your group, become a more active participant. Today, I wanted to kind of go over a bit more of how to engage with the rest of the world that your character happens to inhabit. This goes along well, I would say with the what I covered in my Monday musing video a couple days ago. Feel free to check that out if you haven't already. Go ahead and pause and go watch that one. This video will be there when you get back. Don't worry. But it's this whole saying yes adventure, engaging with the world. Uh, These games are actually good practice for, I would think, for how to do these things in the real world. Again, Monday musing. More on that, and probably hear more about that in the future as well. So, what if, though, you are a little more reserved and or you have other players in your group who are just so comfortable with role playing that they're just constantly engaging with this and that and the other thing? Well, this whole thing's about becoming more engaged in the world, whether that's developing strong relations, deep relationships with NPCs, um, engaging in downtime activities where you're actually researching and creating new spells and magic items, that kind of thing, or just, looting the tried and true practice of looting bodies. Something we probably have just gotten from video games. They probably got it to some degree from earlier editions of D&D, which inspired all the video games, but, you know. But let's say you're still, pretty still reserved. What can you do? Well, how about you try talking with the DM directly about, where your character is going, or especially where your character has been, what they've gone through. There will be more details on backstory, but I just wanted to share a little something here that's I find super helpful. I actually did this for Shearzim a few months back, and shared the results with our DM, and he just loved it. He's so excited. But then again, super excited is like his default state. If he wasn't like super excited all the time, I'd actually be a little worried about him. So, anyways, what is this saying? This is actually a really cool supplement that Wizards came out with a while back called Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And well, it's right here in the compendium in D&D Beyond for your perusal. So here we are. I'm actually slowly figuring out how to use the hotkeys that I put into the OBS myself. Go me! So what I wanted to just kind of give you a quick glimpse at is the This Your Life section. This is a section that's just loaded with random generation tables, which I am just an absolute sucker for. I happen to have DM and GM guides for a few different systems, and I just can't help but want to just roll on all the tables. Even if I'm not necessarily using that stuff, just because it's fun to get a whole bunch of random results and try and make order from it. Try and make sense of it. So even it says here, you can use as much or as little of this material as you desire. You can make decisions in any order you want. I had actually decided just to roll on all the things one night for Shearzim just to see what would happen, and then I just shared the results again, like I said, with the DM. So this goes into your origins, your family, who your parents are, maybe what race your parents are, if you happen to be one of those half-breed races like tieflings. Shearzim. Mm-hmm. And you can work out, things like birthplace, how many siblings you have, the actual birth order, and stuff about your family lifestyle, and then even some personal decisions. This is pretty cool because if you're like completely stumped on why or how your character fell into a certain background or took up the class that he decided to take, there are tables here for you to come up with at least get a quick idea of what may have happened as a starting point to build off of. That's what all these tables are for, is just things to help jumpstart your creative juices, jumpstart your creation of your backstory, which is a really good idea. Again, future video. This will be, like I said, just want to show you this little, a bunch of this jumpstart stuff. And again, why your character became, say, a wizard. Again, cheers him. Although, since I had kind of already touched on, I had kind of already discussed a bit with I'd already had an idea for his backstory in mind, at least the bare bones minimum. There was already a why he became a wizard and why he became a necromancer. And again, some of the stuff, I kind of wanted tweaking some of the results to kind of fit more, get it more in line with what some of those bare bones things I came up with. And some just happened to work really well with the role that I got. So then you get to work out, how many major life events your character has had, depending on how old they are, and just tables for all these different results. I mean, there's like tables and tables and tables. It's like tableception. If you enjoy randomly rolling things, like this is the section for you. And if you're having trouble coming up with a skeleton, at least a skeleton for your character's backstory, this is also the section for you. This is pretty sweet. Anyways, I'm not going to go through a whole lot of this, but again, I went through this and started just kind of building off of it. And some of those things have actually come up in this recent session, which we will be unpacking in Out of a Hat tonight at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on twitch.tv/JustSomeGuardians. Be there unless you see a notice from me that it happened to be canceled for some reason. Because, this is something I've been doing. I think everybody's been doing this to some extent in the group, but it's been really benefited for me because sometimes I still get caught up in seeing what, the other members of the party is going to do, particularly Jayag, because again, his player is so comfortable with role playing and just all over the place. And I am very grateful that he and the other players are actually even allowing me room to, express my character however awkwardly that may come off. But guess what? I'm new to the whole thing, so it's okay to be awkward. That's the other thing. It's okay to be a little awkward as long as it's not like creepy awkward. Yeah. Anyways, so what's cool is I kind of covered some things in my character's backstory. What my parents were up to, and a bit about them. And some of that, again, has come up in this session in the form of some items that I was able to pick up in a big fight that we had just finished up. So even though I still have to remind myself, hey, I have a character in this whole story too. I need to start investigating things as well. The fact that I took the time to talk with my DM about some things that happened in characters past, and even a little bit of where I would like him to go, and there's just so many options. And even I even discussed some actual items that were important to his backstory. Those things came out in the game. And thankfully the other characters, even though they had taken up the tried and true practice of looting the body, they recognized that some of these things would be very important to my character, and they actually left them for me to find. And that was actually really cool. So, players, what have you found to be most rewarding about engaging with the world, even if it's just discussing backstory with your DM or GM, whatever the case may be. What cool things have come from that? And DMs. How much do you actually enjoy when your players find ways to engage with the world, even if it's just one-on-one chats with you about these types of things? And what have you done to reward and encourage, that kind of a thing? Let's discuss that in the comment section. I'd like to see, all sorts of cool stories about it. And besides that, usual YouTube stuff. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so you get to find out when new videos come out. And until next time, enjoy getting legendary.